video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. It's Friday, and it's Mandalorian time, and I feel so much better than yesterday, except for one thing. They made Star Wars a strip mall.
Yep.
How
does that song go? Paved paradise and put in a parking lot?
Yeah. They have taken that rare diamond in the rough and they have turned it into a cubic zirconium. So everyone can have one. Everyone gets a series. I feel like Oprah this morning. You get a series, and you get a series, and you get a series.
You gotta laugh or else you're gonna freaking cry.
We did get some, cool news. Hayden's coming back. But we're gonna have Ahsoka. We're gonna have the what is it? Star Republican Space Rangers in space.
Rangers in space, cops in space. Oh gosh.
Just too many to mention. I mean, that's just
droid. Yeah, it is. Like Dave Bob was saying, there's just too many. They just picked a bunch of stuff and said, we're going to get these and throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
They've got Rogue Squadron.
Mm-hmm.
They've got
the droids.
Droids. Oh,
droids.
Droids.
They're bringing back the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're bringing back the Bad Batch for. I don't know what the point of that is. Maybe they were like, well, you know what? We spent time making these guys, or Filoni did anyway, and we're gonna make more.
I think it's just so they can have something else animated, like they had with the Clone Wars. Although the animation looks better, but still, again, why?
They're getting a little desperate when they start reaching that far back and into stuff that people really aren't interested in.
Yeah, but they indeed are desperate. Like I told you guys backstage, the whole investor event yesterday was specifically for the investors. It was a dog and pony show to give confidence to the investors that, hey, we know what we're doing. So, please don't sell off blocks of stock and tank the stock price. We want to give you a warm fuzzy that here at Disney, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing with the Star Wars IP. Remember when you asked us what our plans were for the Star Wars IP and we didn't give you a straight answer a couple months ago? Well, here's our straight answer. Every single thing we could throw out there. Yeah.
Don't panic. Don't panic.
Exactly. That's exactly it, Dave. Don't panic. Please don't sell our stock. Please don't sell mass quantities of our stock.
No, and I just, you know what? I will admit, when Disney initially bought Star Wars, I was excited because I wanted more Star Wars. Those of us in the EU loved the EU, and the EU was special because it's the Star Wars we got, and they were great stories. It was like, this is what we've got, so either read it and you might enjoy it, you might not, but those stories connected Luke, and they continued the story of Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Lando, the children of the heroes we loved.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, Loki. Because that's what I thought when I bought my stock. I bought it, I think, right before they bought Marvel, and then they bought Star Wars. And I'm like, okay, considering what they've done with Star Wars so far with respect to the parks, because at that point they had put out Star Tours, which was always a hit. The place was always crowded. So it was like that realistic piece of, I feel I'm actually in Star Wars. I feel like I'm in the movies. I feel like part of the EU has come, to life. So for me, I'm like, okay, they'll get to do more stuff with Star Wars in the parks, and maybe stuff out of those 2 or 3 EU books that I read, or the books that all my friends are reading. I'll get to see that on screen. But that's not what we got, is it?
No, and that Star Tours made you feel special.
Oh
You got
God, yeah.
Jedi Master lanyard, or you got your Sith Lord, I survived Star Tours, I'm a Sith Lord, or I'm a Jedi Master, I'm a smuggler, whatever it was. It made you feel like you were there.
It just did. And another, I'm trying not to take too long here, but even another story, like I took my nieces, my nephew, and my god sister to Disney World, and we rode Star Tours. And my youngest nephew was being a real pain in the ass, and because he was tired. It was a long story. These stormtroopers come over, and they're patrolling, and I say, hey, you can come over here and take this one if you want. They stop, come over to where my youngest nephew is, and they get down to his level, and they look him straight in the face, and they're just like, we're going to be watching you. And my nephew was just like, oh my God, Auntie, did you see that? The stormtrooper talked to me. And Star Wars was alive to him. And to all of us, it was just like, wow, I feel like I was actually, in the movie. But good luck with that.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And we got a $5 super chat from Psychodwarf9. We wanted Star Wars. We got Disney creatively, morally, financially bankrupt.
Amen.
Yeah.
So very true, brother. And we're going to start things out with some fire this morning before we get to our episode. Score!
Oh!
So this episode starts out exactly the way we expected it. They are going to get Mayhew out of Republic lockup, and he's like making license plates. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Hanging
them out.
Hanging them out. They're tearing up ATSTs and AT-ATs, and they're making license plates out of them. I was like, oh, cool. And here comes Cara Dune. Yes.
Yep.
I want this prisoner. Okay. He's being remanded in my custom. Mayhew's just like, what? Where am I going? Huh? What?
She could take me anywhere.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
And of course, they the droid has to like usher him along, pulls out his stun stick, and he's like, okay, I'm going.
Yep.
And he walks up to Slave 1 and sees Bubba, and he's like, oh shit, for a minute there I thought you were somebody else. And then Mandalorian walks out and he's like, oh shit.
You are that somebody.
And Boba's army has got armor has got a buff and shine on it. Man, it looked good.
Yes,
Yes,
did.
it does. Yes, it does. He had it repainted and sprayed, and yeah, he's looking good. Bubba's looking good. Some people are like, he's fat. I'm like, nah, he looks thick. He is kicking ass. He looks like he's ready to kick some ass and take some names.
Yeah.
Like last week. And yeah, they tell Mayhew, hey, we need you for an Imperial mission.
Yeah, you got information, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
it. The
used to
only
be
reason you're here is because you're Imperial. And
you have all those Imperial codes that we need.
You got some girls blushing this morning, Dave, Bob.
oh well. I have that effect sometimes.
He went for the matte finish. Yeah. He did. That was really cool. Another thing that was cool when they were talking, they were saying, you know, you have those Imperial codes that we need. That's also another callback to the movies. Like if you remember in Return of the Jedi, when they have the shuttle and they're asking for clearance, and he's like, Vader comes over and he's like, what is it? And he's like, does the code check out? He's like, it's an older code, but it checks out. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. You have to use those codes. So that's a good callback to that.
So they find out there's a hidden Imperial facility not too far from where they're at. Then they say it's like Korath or Korath, something like that. Anyway,
that sounds like it.
Yeah, I think it started with an M, but I can't remember.
Minok, the Minok hidden base. So
I think of the flying monkey.
Yeah. Blah! They get to the planet, and what do you know? They find a way in. They're transporting duronium. It was duronium, which to me sounds like uranium.
Yeah. It's just basically futuristic nitroglycerin. You can't bump it. You can't, jostle it, or else it'll go boom.
And again, the sounds.
Yeah.
The sounds in all of this, you hear Slave One taking off and landing, and you're like, oh, yes. Yes. And this could have been a filler episode, but it wasn't. It really wasn't.
Yes, so this is definitely just the build up for the big finale. It was not filler.
No, it did a very good job of ratcheting up the action to set the stage for the season finale.
See you tonight, Naughty Monkey O'Rath.
Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, they find out that they've got to take a transport hauling this futuristic nitroglycerin. That's how they're going to get into the base. Of course, Mayhew's like, I have to go alone. You can't go with me. And Mando's like, oh, I'm going with you. He's like, you can't take off your mask. He's like, he zooms in on the Imperial troopers in the transport. And he's like, I'm going with you. And they take the transport, and Mandalorian hops into some Imperial armor. Hands Kara his bag of armor and is like, take care of this. And Mayhew's like, man, you're looking good in your Imperial armor.
Yeah, she pretty much said, I'd like to say it looks good on you, but
yeah. Nice burn there.
And they start hauling ass, and then they start seeing wrecked transports.
Yeah, and they go through kind of like a village of kids and other people that are just kind of look like they're just downtrodden, almost slaves, just trying to make their way in the world. And old Bill or whatever his name is on the show.
Mayhew.
Mayhew. He starts talking about, hey, Imperial, Republic, there's no difference. He said, to the people out there, we're just invaders. Someone's got to be ruling and someone's got to be ruled. That's just the way it is. I mean, pretty much, just laying it out how things go, and said, you look at things one way if you're from Mandalorian, you look at things another way if you're from Alderaan. But guess what? Neither one's around anymore.
Yep.
I like how that whole scene was written, where they're driving along and then you just start to see certain states of the transports being blown up into pieces, and then you see the people, and then they have this conversation, and it ends with that dark humor, at the end. So it's just like, yeah, it's true, but we laugh, but we laugh because we know it's not because it's funny, because we know that it's true.
Very well written. Very well written.
Very well, yes. So this episode was almost like Star Wars poetry in a way. You get that. Go ahead.
And I would agree, and it really goes to credit for the person who directed and wrote this, which is Rick Fumiyawa, which I hope I got that name right. He's a Nigerian American, and if you go back and you look at the Mandalorian behind the scenes series that was on Disney Plus, when you hear him and see him talk about how he saw A New Hope when he was a kid with his dad, and he talks about the love that he has for Star Wars, it's very apparent in this episode. But that's just a nice tie back to go back and see him talk about that and how he talks about it. I'm not surprised that this episode is as well written as it was. But you're right, it's like Star Wars poetry. It's true.
And Bod Race and Palpatine Mando had the best set of Stormtrooper armor ever. It didn't break on impact, but it did. You saw pieces breaking off of it later when they were fighting. So you find out that these transports are being attacked. One blows up in front of them, and then another one blows up, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And they have to keep the transport under speed because if they go too fast, it'll just blow up.
I cannot remember. I swear it was some Western. It's almost classic where the transport has the nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
And it can't blow up. That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Dave Bob. So that was cool how they incorporated that, because it's such tension. You can only go but so fast, but people are on your tail, but you have to save your ass, but you don't want to blow up trying to do that.
Yeah, it's pirates that are actually are some kind of resistance on the planet. They're very, very much. They don't really care what happens to themselves. They're just wanting to take out that rhodinium or whatever it is. I mean, they'll do it by whatever means necessary. You just they're tearing along. Well, I say tearing along. They're cruising along. Mando makes the comment, "Don't worry about the rhodinium. Just keep driving slow and steady, and we'll get there. No problem." And about that time, they look up and they see the pirates jumping onto the back of their transport. And so he says, "You just keep driving. I'll take care of them." So he leans out the window and he picks one of them off and shoots at another one. And Mayhew saying, "Shooting at rhodinium? In a transport of rhodinium? Are you crazy?" Oh man. And then he said, "Well, you just stay here." And so he goes up and gets up on the top and starts battling.
And again, very good, very, very good fight choreography.
Yeah.
It was spot on. They did a really good job. These guys jumping on the back of the truck, trying to blow it up, trying to pry it open. There's stick combat, bow stick combat, spears. It was very, very well done. Very, very well done. Really good fight scene.
Yeah, and you can tell that Mando's not used to wearing armor that can't take a hit because he gets beat up pretty good.
Yeah, a couple times. He gets hit really good, and he's used to having that Beskar plate. That Beskar plate makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a big running battle. At first, you think there's just one that little transport things they got. They have like it's just a flying platform with 5 or 6 of them on the platform, and every one of them has a thermal detonator. They're trying to get it, blow the thing up, and while they're doing it, he ends up knocking one of them off that had just armed the thermal detonator, and as he was falling, he fell off the back, and it fell underneath the first transport and blew it up. And you think, okay, everything's over. And then you look back, and there's like 4 or 5 more coming.
They just keep coming,
And just about that time after when you think they're really in trouble, they've taken care of 2 of the transports and another 3 are on their way, and they're all arming their bombs. You hear this sound, and I knew immediately what it was. I'm sure everybody on the panel immediately knew who it was, but it's the scream and rumble of twin ion engines.
Yes.
The TIE fighters.
And I'm cheering for TIE fighters. I love the sound of
right?
Twin ion engines in the morning.
Because usually when you hear twin ion engines, we're like, oh, great, we're screwed. But in this case, it's flipped like, oh, okay, great, we're saved now. We're saved. Interesting.
Oh, they took them out. I mean, took them out.
Shooting fish in a barrel, right?
Yeah, they had to get their transport across this kind of a bridge, and as they were going across the bridge, a lot of the stormtroopers and sand troopers came out of the base, and they actually started hitting people. They were taking the pirates.
I know. They could hit the broadside of a bantha.
But yeah, actually cheering for the Empire. I never thought I'd see the day. Me either, Pod Racing Palpatine, but
And then all the troopers were saluting them, and as they were coming in and giving them, just high fives and whatnot, just cheering them on. And old Mayhew, he was sitting there kind of saluting them as he drove into the base. It was kind of funny. It was funny. You could see the look on his face,
Yeah.
But they pull into the base with this transport, and they're all cheering. They're all cheering for him. All the troopers are out there, the shore troopers, the storm troopers, they're all cheering. And I like how they've incorporated some of that from Rogue One into this show. Seeing the shore troopers was like, holy shit, I haven't seen those since Rogue One. Along with the stormtroopers, it's like, okay, are these guys base security and they got the stormtroopers there for extra muscle? Is that why the troopers could hit these guys as they were shooting them? Was because it was shore troopers, not stormtroopers.
Yeah, a little better training.
But I was go Empire, go 501st forever, Lord Thoth. Yes, 501st for life. Vader's fist. I was really, they knew their stuff here. They really did. They really knew their stuff. And again, that goes to the writer who also directed the episode. Loves Star Wars. Like Reina Creole said, if you watch the specials on Disney Plus, this guy knows his Star Wars. He grew up watching Star Wars. He grew up loving Star Wars.
And it shines in this episode. It shows through.
So they get in the base. They're in the base. They've got their little reception where they're being cheered on and everyone's clapping and Mayhew's just soaking it all in. Yeah, we got here. Yeah. you know, and they walk towards the officer's mess, and Mayhew's like, yeah, it's in there. It's in there. The console we got to hack is in there. So they, Dee Dee Myers, yes, I am with Loki. I believe they know he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. So they, Mayfield's going to walk into the mess hall when he does a quick 180, turns around and says, I can't. The officer in there, I know him. He'll know me. And Mandalorian's like,
I served under him.
yeah, I served under him. And Mandalorian's like, well, is he going to recognize you? He's like, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. He says, I was just a field operative, but, I can't take the chance. We're out of here. Mission's over.
Yeah, abort.
Mando, he countermands him immediately. He says, give me the whatever the stick. I guess it's kind of like a USB stick or whatever to access the console. And Mayhew looks at him and he says, look, he says, you don't understand. He said, facial recognition. If you get up there, you can't get up there without removing your helmet. And Mando just says, give it to me.
Yep. It's got to scan your face and give it to me. And Mandalorian walks over and yes, Lord Thoth, night and day from Thursday Dreckery to Friday Worthy and Enjoyment. Yes, and Stephanie Littlepage. I'm loving the Mandalorian, and not just for Gina Carano and Katie Sackhoff. The whole show is strong. I agree with that on the whole. The whole show is strong. So Mandalorian, Din, if you prefer, you actually want to call him by his first name, walks over to the console, puts the key in, it scans him with his helmet on and starts beeping at him that he's got to take his helmet off. That catches the attention of this Imperial officer that Mayfield was worried about. Mandalorian eventually takes his helmet off, hits the button a couple of times, and right before it's set to set off an alarm, it scans his face and downloads the information, which is the location of Moff Gideon's ship in the codes to contact that ship. He pulls the card, goes to walk away, and there's the Imperial officer Mayfield was worried about, and starts asking him questions.
Oh, yeah. And this guy has got one of the creepiest voices and mannerisms of anybody you've ever seen. He was really kind of just weird.
Yeah, and the actor, let me pull the actor up because he has been in, let's see, where's my episode guide? Season 2. He has been in Westerns.
You can tell that just by the way he talks. It's almost like he came straight off the set of Tombstone or something. But he's questioning Dan. He says, what's your designation, trooper? And he says, Dan doesn't know what to say. He just kind of standing there like a deer in the headlights, transport driver. And he says, what? Then he questions him, and about that time, Mayhew knows that he has to do something, come up and save him. And even though, he knows the guy might recognize him, he comes up and he said, this is Trooper, or his designation code, D1 whatever. And then he said, I'm so-and-so D1 whatever, troop, lieutenant, troop commander or whatever. You got to watch out for this guy. His hearing hadn't been so good since his ship depressurized on I can't remember what planet it was. And so that's kind of how they skirted around the issue that he couldn't, come up with his designation.
Yep. And this is Richard Brake. He was in Doom, Kingsman, Doomhead, Rob Zombie, Hannibal Rising. He's been in a bunch of different films, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
always the creepy guy.
Yeah. He has a very distinctive voice, too.
He is always the creepy guy and stuff. He's that guy that you're like, TK421, why are you not your post? Yeah. TK.
Yeah.
So they are able to talk their way almost past him. When he's like, I didn't excuse you, troopers. They turn around and he's like, have a drink with me.
Yeah, you're not dismissed. Let's come have a drink. Oh yeah, and during all this, Mayhew says what when he asked what his name is, he just said we just call him Brown Eyes. So Den is now known as Brown Eyes.
And Dee Myers, I never thought that Bubba would help Mando. I was very surprised on how much Bubba is helping him out. Didn't know what Mando would do without Bubba's help. No, and it's because they are Mandalorians. Bubba is not officially a Mandalorian. He is not officially a Mandalorian. Because he is a clone, the Mandalorians don't really recognize him.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that they explained in the EU. It wasn't until much later in the EU that the Mandalorians actually officially recognized Bubba as his own person because of who Jango was. Jango Fett was a Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was a foundling.
Yeah, Bubba is not. And they explained some of that in the last episode. It's interesting. It is interesting how much Mandalorian, how much help the Mandalorian is getting from Bubba, and we'll get to more of that here in just a minute.
Yeah, it's like almost like a life debt. You know, he made a promise and he's going to keep it because he had told him last week if he got his armor back, he would help him get the child. You know, he would help protect the child. And when they lost the child, you know, that was kind of like he's now honor bound to help him get the child back.
Yes.
And Fennec is tied to him, so she's she's all in too.
And that is one of the things, and we've got to get to that because that was one of my favorite parts of this episode. But Mayfield and this Imperial officer and the Mandalorian sit down. They're drinking, they're talking, and this Imperial officer is talking about what the Empire plans to do, and the Order, you know, and you almost get a sense for just a second they're going to go into the sequel trilogy, but they don't. And Mayfield is going back and forth with this officer, talking about this battle that took place and how 10,000 lives were lost, Imperial lives, civilians were killed, this entire city was destroyed, and this guy's just eating it up. He's just eating it up. This officer is just...
Yeah, he you can tell he was reveling in it. Just all those people dying. Well, they did it for the Empire, you know. They're heroes of the Empire. Everything, you know, is going to turn out. And Mayhew is just, you can tell he's getting angrier and angrier as he said, "Oh, so those people dying, that was a good thing." And he keeps, you know, going on. This happened, and all that's a good thing. And you can just tell that anger is just seething up inside of him, you know, and he's just getting ready to pop.
Yeah, and he does. Boy, he does. It's not, you know, I didn't believe they were going to do it, but they did do it, and they did it well. Mayhew doesn't take any shit, and he takes out, or Mayfield doesn't take any shit, and he takes out the officer.
Han Solo's him.
Yeah, Mayfield definitely shot first. There's no questions asked. Mayfield shot first.
Yeah,
And
he whipped that blaster out, and I mean, squared him right in the chest. You could see the hole burned right through his chest. It was, and then everybody in the whole room froze. And old Mayfield, he just kind of looking around with a surprised look on his face, like he couldn't even believe what he just did.
and it's on. The race is on. Mando starts shooting, Mayfield shooting, everybody's shooting, and stormtroopers are going down left and right. They're backed up. They back themselves up against the wall as more stormtroopers and shore troopers start making their way to the mess hall, and they have to shoot their way out. They get outside onto a balcony, and one of the troopers sticks his head out, and you get a shot from Krennic.
Yeah. Krennic and Cara Dune are sitting up on the cliff, and they just start, talking to each other. You take this one, I'll take that one. There's 3 stories up, this and that. We got to get, the cannon, the air cannon. We got to take this out, take that out. And they're fighting their way through there the whole time. Of course, Mando and Mayhew, they're holding their own. They're shooting just, they're hitting just as many, but the snipers, Fennec and Cara, sitting up on the cliff, they're taking out the ones that they can't see, the ones that are trying to ambush them, and this and that. And I mean, it's just battle royale. Troopers falling off into the abyss, going down a generate like a damn waterfall coming off. It's just battle royale all the way up through there. They're just shooting, and in the midst of it, Fennec just calls out to Boba on the comms, "You're on, come get them."
And the sound that ship makes when
Yep.
it takes off it's music.
Yeah,
It's
just like the
music
TIE
to
fighters. You recognize it immediately.
to see Slave One back in action. They, you know what? If you all could only say one good thing about this show, it's that it respects what came before it.
Yeah,
It definitely does.
and their sound effects are impeccable. I mean, everything about it is perfect. When you hear it, it just brings you back to the first time you heard that sound in the movie. I mean, it's like sound is one of the things that triggers memory more to me than anything.
Yes. And Mark the Infinitely Tired, 2 sharpshooters, 2 Mandalorians, and a convict with nothing to lose. This is the making of a movie. And it is. They could have made a movie just about this one episode. They could have made a movie just about this one episode. It was that good. It was that good. I love the sniper tag team between Krennic and Cara. They were kicking ass, and I thought the one thing I think they could have done better is to make it a competition.
Yeah.
If they'd have been calling out numbers, if they'd had the time to do that, and they did, they could have added another minute to this episode. If they'd had the time to do that number call out, that's 5. I got 6. Oh, I got 7. Choo, and just been troopers left and right. And at the end, I got 8. I got 9, and then 9. Where it was tied. I would have loved that. I would have really, really loved that, because it was one of those scenes that you're just like, damn, sniper team up, Cara Dune, and you almost wonder, is Cara going to be as good as Krennic? She was a shock trooper in the New Republic.
She could definitely shoot. She could hold her own anywhere.
I would have loved that. More Cara Dune. Yeah, Lord Thoth. One thing they could have done better, more Cara Dune. Yeah, more Cara Dune. Give us a little more Cara Dune and Krennic.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
baby. Yeah, we're toxic males. We're all toxic males here. We don't want women we don't want strong women in our shows. No, that's absolutely wrong. We don't want fake women.
Yeah.
This
We
is
want,
this is
we want
so
real badasses.
we want real badasses that don't take any shit. Not some pandering wannabes. And I tell you what, Krennic and Kara, that team up so utterly badass, so epically badass that they took it to them. They didn't take any shit. They were firing on that cliff at everything they saw, everything that moved. There wasn't anything that escaped their sight. It was one of those badass moments in Star Wars that you're just like, damn.
And in the midst of all this, here comes Slave One to the top of the structure.
Yep. Here comes Bubba.
The ramp down, and as they're running towards the ship, Kara and Finnick are just still, taking them out. The troopers out left and right, that are popping up everywhere. And they end up jumping from the building onto the platform or the ramp of the ship. Both of them get into the ship. And they start streaking off towards the sky. And what do you think's right on their tail?
TIE fighters. And you hear that roar. You hear that roar, and you hear the roar coming from Slave One, and you're just like, I'm hooked. They've got me. They've got me. They have got me. Yeah, fire spray. Fire spray. Yes. Pod racing Palpatine. Yes, that is the that's like the calling it the Razor Crest. Yeah, the brand name of Bubba's Slave One is a fire spray. For those that don't know, that is the official. It's like a YT 1200, YT 1300, the YT class freighter that Han flies. The Falcon, the fire spray is the official designation of Boba Fett's Slave One, and it has been highly modified.
Oh yeah. You find that out here during this confrontation as he's streaking away from there with the TIE fighters on his tail.
Oh, Jango would be proud. Let me tell you guys something. Jango Fett would be proud. The Slave One goes vertical. It's going up into the clouds. It does a couple of quick maneuvers, but those TIE fighters are on its ass when he opens up that back panel. And the seismic charge, that seismic charge from episode 2 pops out, and you're waiting for it. You're like, yes, yes, yes. And that sound and the TIE fighters are just shredded.
Oh yeah, and the visual effect of that sphere of sonic waves going out. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, the spatial charge in an atmosphere from Mark the Infinitely Tired. Beautiful. The shockwave, like Dave Bob said, the shockwave, when you see it and when you hear it, yeah, you're just like, you've got goosebumps. And you're in a galaxy far, far away. What made Star Wars so great? What made Star Wars so great? You felt like you were in a galaxy far, far away. From the opening crawl to John Williams' score in the credits, you always felt like you were in a galaxy far, far away.
And you felt like you were in the movie, like you were in the midst of it. I mean, it was to me, as a young man, when I was watching those movies, it was almost a religious experience whenever I got to see a new Star Wars movie.
This is what we wanted. People can disagree with me on that. That is fine. You can disagree with me on that all you want. When I hear the score of this, and it's not John Williams, and I still feel that. When I hear the sounds, when I see the people, the atmosphere, the scenes, the writing. TK, what's your TK designation, Trooper? I am caught and I'm taken away to a galaxy far, far away. That is something we don't have on Thursdays, ladies and gentlemen. I do not feel like I am watching Star Trek. I do not feel like I am in the Star Trek universe. I do not feel like I am boldly going where no one has gone before. I feel like this is the Michael Burnham show. It's all about Michael Burnham.
I feel like I'm in a dental office getting a root canal.
Yeah. And Speaker for the Dead nails it. The Force will be with you. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So I know this show got some heat when it first came out. Oh, that's not Star Wars music. That's not this. That's not that. Oh, I'm not going to watch this. Oh, I'm not going to pay any attention to this. Oh, I'm not going to give it the time of day. That's changed. There's so much news surrounding this. You know, you hear all kinds of stuff coming out of Disney. There are all kind of rumors like Brie Larson won't be the next Captain Marvel. Well, guess what we found out yesterday? Brie Larson is going to be in Captain Marvel too. Disney is making mistakes. They are, but with this show, with Jon Favreau, with Dave Filoni, they have done something excellent. They have taken me back to a galaxy far, far away. They have swept me back in to Star Wars. That may change in the future. Whatever plans they have may change. Finding out that Hayden Christensen is coming back for the Obi-Wan series, I couldn't be happier. Finding out that they're going to go on with the Obi-Wan series, I couldn't be happier. I want Obi-Wan. I want to know what happened on Tatooine. I want to see Vader and Obi-Wan square off again. I want to see that. And there is hope. What is there in Star Wars hope? It started out with a new hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's almost like, a dark night and there's just a small campfire. That's what it feels like Star Wars is to me right now. It used to burn bright, but now it's just a glowing ember. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they're breathing life into that fire, trying to build it back up to what it once was.
Hello, Supreme Heretic. How are you doing, Drew? Hashtag beware the Drew. So, Lorena, you wanna tell us the end of this? They Boba Fett destroyed the ties with the seismic spatial charges. They get down on the ground.
Oh yeah, we did forget to mention that during right after he shot the commander and they cleared the room out the first time, he told Mando or Den, he said, "Look, put your helmet on. Nobody's seen your face."
Yeah, I didn't see it. Have no idea what you look like.
Yeah, I didn't see your face.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. No, I didn't see your face. So after that, you guys went over. Sorry, I had to adult. You guys went over the sonic bomb explosion.
Yes. Yep. But tell
Okay.
us what you thought of that. Tell us, because we've just done that. Tell us what you thought.
Okay, so for me, I like that because for those of you who have been on the Star Tours ride at either Disney World or Disneyland, there is a part where Boba Fett is chasing your transport ship and he lets go a sonic bomb, which 3PO identifies as it. The effect of that sonic bomb, just the visual effect, and not only that, but how it shakes the vehicle that you're in, it is amazing. So to see that effect in The Mandalorian, I immediately flashed back to that physical experience. So that you have to really, really, really love Star Wars to incorporate that, because that was an amazing callback. So I'm glad they included that. It was awesome. I thought it was awesome.
And the sound.
Yes, sound definitely, because that's a very distinctive sound. It's the same sound that they use in the Star Tours ride. I'd never heard it before, but it's so clear and and distinctive. I love that they use that here.
Absolutely.
Somebody went and said, pull it up.
Yeah. What did you use to make that? Oh, let's make it.
Yes, let's use that.
And they used it well.
Very.
Yes, very, very well. Ratings. Dave Bob, what do you got? Give us a shout out this morning on how we're going out of here.
A solid 8. Solid 8. I'm ready. I'm ready for the finale, and hopefully we get something that doesn't leave us with a cliffhanger.
Lorena.
I will shamelessly give it an 8.5, and I'll add the 0.5 onto there specifically because Rick Fumiyama did an amazing job, not only directing, but writing it as well. And I forget who in the chat said this, but this episode, yes, it was literally fun to watch. Literally just sit back, relax, and watch it. I had fun from when it started all the way to when it ended. So yeah, 8.5.
I agree. I agree. 8.5. The writing was wonderful. The scenes were wonderful. It was a fun episode. I cheered multiple times. I was cheering. I cheered when the TIE fighters came down and saved the transport that Mayfield and the Mandalorian were on. I cheered when Boba Fett dropped the spatial seismic charges, the sonic charges. I cheered multiple times, and I loved the end. I loved the end when they let Mayfield go. That was I didn't expect that. You know, he's like, so I guess I'm going back to prison now, huh? And they were like, yeah, Mayfield died in the mission on the mission. He got blown up.
It was kind of funny, you know. He says, "Hey, I'll do it," you know, and the whole time it looked like he was expecting to get shot in the back as he was walking away.
Yeah, Mark Dambley Tower, definite 8.5, perfect bridge episode for the hell that is coming for Gideon. And that's the last scenes we see. That's where we will end this review. The last scenes we see is Krennic on his ship, and they get a message, and it's of course a hollow of the Mandalorian, and he repeats exactly what Gideon told him.
Yes, and that is the perfect plot device. I love that. Uses Gideon's own words as a threat against him.
Yeah, and you could tell Gideon was shocked.
He did not. It's kind of like, oh, how dare you talk to me, you know, that way. But I am going to talk to you that way because you have something that I want. And it's not that you have something that I want because it has monetary value. You have something that I want because it is of personal value to me, protective value to me. And I like that paternal edge that came out when he said that.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely like a father talking about his child.
Yeah, he's getting his boy back. I'm coming to get my boy back, Gideon. Wow, wow, wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh, shit. I'm coming to get my boy, Gideon. Oh, shit. This is shaping up to be a wonderful, wonderful season finale. I cannot wait for next week. It's gonna rock. It's gonna rock. We've got no more Mando until December of next year.
Yeah.
So we've got one last episode, and then
it better.
It better right. Yeah, they better bring it. I want more than 30 minutes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Better get me at least 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have got to really bring this last one, and they got to bring it with substance, and also, you know, give it enough time. Give it enough time to tell a good story.
Yes. And I almost wanted to, and I will say this, they need to give us an ending as jaw-dropping as the end of The Empire Strikes Back. That's what they need to do. Give us something where we're just going to be like, I can't wait till the season premiere. I did you see X, Y, and Z? Maybe this will happen. Maybe that'll happen. Something that would just profoundly shock us. So I'm hoping that'll work. I would love it if it was an hour and a half. I sincerely would.
Shit.
Yeah. I'd pay good money for that.
Yeah, I'd be real happy if it was an hour and a half, especially an hour and a half that's written so well you don't realize it's an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We all need to send a message to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Everybody get on your Twitters and send him a clip of 60 Minute Man. The song 60 Minute Man. And maybe they'll get the picture. We need at least an hour finale here, at the least 1 hour.
Hashtag 60 Minute Man.
That's right. That is right. Hashtag 60 Minute Man. We need an hour-long episode to close out The Mandalorian, because we're not going to get any more Mandalorian until next December. And this has to carry us a year.
Yeah.
This definitely has to carry us a year. So, like you said, it needs to be a J.R. Ewing ending. Who shot J.R.?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. It has to be an Empire Strikes Back, who shot J.R. Ewing ending, where we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Someone put it up in the chat earlier. If Mace Windu shows up, if Samuel L. Jackson shows up on The Mandalorian at the end as Mace, and he's got, his arm cut off, and he's all messed up. You know that as soon as Bubba sees him, and if they were to like cut it right there, like Bubba stands up and is like, it's you. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. Oh yeah. What's
remember, we didn't see a body with Mace Windu.
Nope. I would love that. I just hope it's not Ezra. Anyway, thank you all so very much. We'll leave it there. I hope it's not Ezra. Yeah, no Ezra. No bringing back Ezra Bridger. Just no. Guys, we're going to be back later tonight for some Cyberpunk gameplay with me and Eris. You guys have a great week. We've got a member stream coming up later today. At least I think it's later today. Pretty sure it's later today. Yes, it's later today. It is the 11th. Yes, it is the 11th. So we have got a member stream coming up, and that will be at 5, and then we are going to roll into Cyberpunk. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Dave, Bob, you will be back next week. Yes.
Oh, yes.
And what do you got coming up, Lorena?
Well, today at 12 noon for my lunch table chat, my special guest will be Orange Hat Reviews, and we will actually be discussing the new offerings for Star Wars and Marvel from the investor call. We'll be looking at that, and also, hopefully, if time permits, we're going to break down the trailer for Cobra Kai Season 3.
Ooh, I love me some Cobra Kai.
Oh, I'm so freaking excited about Season 3 of Cobra Kai.
I cannot wait to see Cobra Kai.
I can't either. It's January 21st, y'all.
And it's on Netflix.
And The Expanse is coming here in a few weeks, or about a week now, with The Expanse. So I'm looking forward to that too.
We've got The Expanse. We've got so much good stuff to look forward to.
Yes, we do.
So thank you so very much, guys. Everyone have a great one, and we will catch you later today.
Goodbye.
Bye.
tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.